Hi there, YouTube. It's your friendly neighborhood Van Hammer there with a little green stuff. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Well, guys, here's a tool for green stuffing. You green stuff long enough, you'll need these. So keep some of these on hand. Serious, guys. What I want to do here in this video here is cover some of the tools that I use and a little update on where this little tutorial section is going to go. So first off, we're going to start off with the tools. Generally, what tools, I get asked a lot, which tools I use. Nothing special about tools, it's whatever you're comfortable with, mainly. You got your general sculpting tools, which, like I say, I picked these up at a bargain bin at the local, mom and pop's place that sells crafting supplies. Picked this up at a bargain bin. I got like 10 tools for a few bucks. Of them, this is generally my most used tool. The pick, the paddle on it. Pick is good for straight lines, used for cutting, all kind of different little things. But if you're looking for tools, find you a nice pick, something you're comfortable using, whether it's a dental pick that's curved, whatever, it doesn't really matter as long as you can get comfortable using it. Something with a paddle on it. It could be something like this, which is, like say, a sculpting tool for shaping, smoothing, and stuff like that. Doesn't have to be a paddle. You get your X-Acto blade. Still got a flat smoothing area. Smoothing over your green stuff. Works pretty much the same as the paddle. So get you something that you're comfortable working with. Like I say, I generally like the pick and the paddle type brushes or tools the most. So look for you just a comfortable tool. Fiddle with them a little bit till sit and play with some Play-Doh or something just to get used to holding it is my best suggestion to you. Grabbing green stuff and a tool and going at it, you'd be wasting green stuff. I'll get you some clay. Even this blue tack, it's still something you can mold. Get used to just holding the tools and working with them. And once you're used to working with them, it'll be easy to sculpt stuff. So, like I say, just pick you up the tools. You don't have to have like a complete set of shapers and scrapers and benders and whittlegigs and all this other stuff. Just a couple tools that you're comfortable working. Say they don't have to be the wooden handles like I use. They can be metal handles. But look for you a good sculpting tool you like. I get a lot of questions about these rubber tip brushes that I use. Basically, when I picked these brushes up was the same day I picked up these brushes, both in the same bin actually. These were labeled as a sculpting tool, and this one was labeled as a oil brush. It's just a soft-tipped rubber brush. This one happens to have a point, so I tend to use this one just like this one. And you've got like the chisel point, also just a flexible tip rubber brush, and use it pretty much like the paddle. Just for shaping and moving and smoothing. So if you get a chance to find these, I think you'll enjoy these over the metal tips. The metal seems to be harsher. These seem to be a little bit more forgiving. So if you get a chance and find these, recommend picking them up. But if you don't, and you're just finding something along these lines, as long as you're comfortable using it, you can do the same with this as I do with these. But being that I found them both the same day, I got using these more than these, so I'm more comfortable with the rubber tip ones. So here's just a couple tools that I like to keep on hand. Like I say, a nice blade. It doesn't have to be a super sharp blade. It can be a dull blade as long as it's not got a lot of nicks and cuts and breaks in the blade. You can use this as a paddle for cutting. All kind of uses for this, so it's good to keep on hand. A nice picking tool. Toothpicks works. Anything with a good sharp pick. I don't know if you got a lot of little nut picks for, you see around at Christmas time and stuff, for digging nuts out of shells. That pick works too. It's also got a blade end on it, so even one of those would work for sculpting. Like I say, as long as you get comfortable using it. And like I say, the rubber tip brushes to me are very nice, but if you can't find them, you can do as much with this as you can with these. Just to me, these seem to be a little bit more forgiving with the green stuff. So that's the main tools that you're going to be using. Some other things you might want to keep on hand. Find you some jeweler's files, because green stuff, when it's dry, is sandable. Like this one here is my favorite of the files that I have. It's a good flat edge for smoothing and flattening, along with a beveled edge that I can use to shape with. Take basically a dry figure, piece of green stuff, say like this shield, and you can file on it all day long. Don't really hurt it. You can just shape with it or whatever. So shaping files, good to have on hand. I picked the setup that I've got from Harbor Freight. Just cheap little precision file set. Little needle files, is what they call them at Harbor Freight. Picked up the set, a few bucks. Get a chance, go to Harbor Freight, take a look, see if you can find your needle files. Find them online. I know they sell them there, it's a little bit more expensive, but you pick these up fairly cheap. A few bucks. So if you get a chance to get you some files, keep a few of those on hand. Not bad to have around. Also, another important thing to keep with you, a jug of water. Doesn't have to be a jug, just something you can store water in. Keep at your desk or your work area, whatever you've got handy. Oops, knocking stuff over here. Paper towels, also useful to keep on hand. For nothing else, just to wipe up, clean up on, or making you a wet palette. If you have, I've shown this in another video, but I'll show again real quick here. It's green stuff itself is not hazardous, or is a little hazardous to you. So it's something you don't want to eat. I've got a bad habit of licking my tools, but I discovered this way after I'd started green stuffing. So if you're new at it and you're just getting into it and can get yourself in the habit of making you a wet palette, you're already up on the game. But basically just take you a piece of paper towel, some water. So you don't have to keep a jug. You can have a little bowl of water, just something you can dip your fingers in to keep your fingers damp so that the green stuff's not sticking to you. But just take your paper towel, soak it in some water. You don't have to have it dripping. Like this one here is sort of drippy. Just squeeze most of your excess out till you got just a good damp paper towel. Like I said, don't just enough to It's like on a wet palette for your paint. You just dampen it enough to keep some water, just to keep it damp. To get you a nice wet palette set up. That way, say you're working your green stuff, lay your tools right there, pick your tool up you're going to use, run it through the green stuff, it's damp, it's ready to go. You got a piece stuck to it, wipe it on the palette, comes right clean, and you're not licking it. Like I say, couldn't really stress it enough. Like I say, I know I'm bad about it, licking my brushes to dampen them, but you don't want to have the green stuff in your mouth and ingesting it. Like I say, it's not health food. It hasn't killed me yet, but it probably is not helping me either. So, if you get in the habit of keeping your wet palette, you're better off than, like I say, me, who continually licks them. So, another good thing to keep on hand. Paper towels, just to clean up messes and whatever, and to make you some wet palettes. Be some other things that I'll cover later as we go in the series, like making molds and stuff. Another good thing once you start into that to have in hand is some cooking spray. This is a non-stick, cooking spray basically. Picked it up at like an Odd Lots, just a cheap place. So you don't have to give a lot of money for like the big fancy non-stick sprays. Just something that you can use as a non-stick agent to separate molds from your green stuff. And so that's basically what you really need to get started. As we go in the series, I'll expand on some of the tools and stuff that I use as we go. But just to get started, like I say, to recap, for starting, it's a good, comfortable tool. Just get used to holding it and messing with it. Like I say, get you just something and just play with it. Play-Doh, just anything. And once you just start, you just learn what it takes to make a mark in it. And once you get set up and doing what you're going to do, once we start making videos on how to sculpt different things or whatever, you're ready with the tools that you're comfortable with. So it's a good idea if you get a chance. Just sit and you're watching TV or whatever, get you something and just start picking on it, playing with it, shaping it around a little bit. And after a while, you're used to that tool. Pick up something else and just start playing with it until you get used to sculpting with it. And for long, you're making stuff. So, like I say, get you a nice tool. And this is some of the things that I use. And stay tuned. We'll make some more videos.